Hey, welcome back everyone. Ever since the very end of the Skywalker saga, a lot of fans around the world have been very intrigued about the future of the Star Wars franchise by Disney, Lucasfilm, Bob Iger, Bob Chapek, you name it, and exactly what the future of the Star Wars franchise is going to look like and how it's going to compare to what I like to call the Kathleen Kennedy era of Star Wars. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel for future Star Wars content. Now, one thing about Disney Star Wars is that yes, we do know that they are now currently in a phase of damage control. They're really trying to escape that by really pursuing all these different TV shows, these new movies that are all going to interconnect with each other, forming this new expanded universe, simply known as the new EU. Now, we've got Jon Favreau, we've got George Lucas, and we've also got Dave Filoni all working together as a team to really deliver as much authentic Star Wars material as possible in order to really make Star Wars the best that it can be, right? At the end of the day, that's what the fans want to see. They want to see authentic Star Wars material. Actual content that's going to be in line with George Lucas's vision, and that's exactly what they are aiming for. Now, throughout the sequel trilogy, we do know that Kathleen Kennedy had a lot of problems on her end. She had a lot of failures, throughout the sequel trilogy era, and a prime example was also on the side with Solo: A Star Wars Story's box office results, because of how she canceled the overall movie, essentially, midway through production, if not more than midway through production, fired the two directors, hired Ron Howard, and it cost a lot more money just to do that than what was actually coming in. So, with that being said, of course, what's really exciting and intriguing all has to do with George Lucas and Kathleen Kennedy and Knights of the Old Republic. Now, specifically, with the Skywalker saga now over, both Disney and Lucasfilm have been developing their new Star Wars universe in order to create a new mythology for Star Wars fans around the world. Now, it's noted that as of right now, both Bob Iger and Bob Chapek are working closely together in order to reunite the Star Wars fandom around the entire globe. One of the major plans by Disney is to make Star Wars better than it ever has been under their supervision. However, not so long ago, creator George Lucas had complications with Lucasfilm's Kathleen Kennedy within the development of this new Star Wars universe. At one point in time, Kathleen Kennedy was in charge of a very important Star Wars TV series for Disney Plus that was going to serve as a big form or prophet, if you will, of the Star Wars universe. However, George Lucas fired Kathleen Kennedy from this project that was going to take place many years before the events of Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. Surprisingly, this was Kathleen Kennedy's version of Knights of the Old Republic in the form of a TV series in which Kennedy was going to change many of the core characters and was disrespecting the core aspects of the Star Wars universe that so many fans around the world know and love. So let's just hop right into this for just a second before we move on. Now, Kathleen Kennedy, with this particular project, essentially what she was going to do before she was let go by George, and of course Bob Chapek, we'll get into that in just a second, is that she was going to mess around with the overall core characters of Knights of the Old Republic. You guys may very well actually recall that a couple of years ago, Kathleen Kennedy gave an interview. I believe it might have been for Rogue One: A Star Wars Story, maybe The Last Jedi if I'm not mistaken, but she had an interview in which she was talking about Knights of the Old Republic and how they are talking about this every single day, all the time, and now you can see exactly what's really fitting into the puzzle here. Here we have a scenario in which, yes, a TV show, in fact, not a movie, was being developed for Knights of the Old Republic era based on the hit video game and everything in line with the old expanded universe that Kathleen Kennedy was going to bring to life. But there was a catch. She was going to really flip the actual characters in a sense, and we're going to get into greater detail on that. And this would have been a colossal failure, without a doubt about it. A lot of fans are very protective over their characters, and essentially Kennedy was going to do the complete opposite. Now, this new approach to Knights of the Old Republic by Kathleen Kennedy was going to insert woke culture, identity politics, and other agendas, such as changing the genders of main characters like Darth Revan and others. So, once again, changing the genders of core characters is absolutely irresponsible, in my opinion. That's kind of like saying, let's bring back Darth Vader and just gender swap him. It just doesn't make sense to me at all. Now, I'm sure that there's always going to be a certain percentage of fans out there that like that idea, and you can have your opinion, but I don't believe it's a good opinion. That's just my take on things. I think that's probably the worst of the worst that you could really go within Star Wars. You know, I think that by swapping the overall genders of these massive characters would have been a big mistake, such as Darth Revan. That's just my take on things, and I would like to know if you guys agree with me on that. Now, moving past this, alright, this is where it gets a little bit more intense, is that George Lucas took this up with Bob Chapek, the Disney CEO, to where a major decision was made for Chapek giving George the role to fire Kennedy from the project, and that Lucas is said to be reworking the Old Republic era in the form of television by introducing characters like Darth Bane as an example. Now, this project, alright, as long as she has actually made the massive changes at his request, however, she was refusing to do so, and this led to Kathleen Kennedy receiving the boot at the very beginning of the production process of this new series. Before all of this, George was giving the chance for Kathleen Kennedy to stay on the project if she actually listened to George and was listening to what he was actually telling her to do for the show, in which she didn't. So, once again, you know, Kathleen Kennedy was a part of this project. Lucas already had some form of control over the creative decisions. Kathleen Kennedy was not listening. Chapek brought it up, or should I say, George Lucas brought it up to Chapek, and really, you know, made it concrete that Kathleen Kennedy had to just go. It was not working. And it wasn't in the long run. This really would have been a massive failure on Disney+, so I think it's a good thing that he did this. Now further, alright, Kennedy was also going to take the source material from the Old Republic / Knights, such as books and video games, and would use that to market a new era of Star Wars video games based on the new Star Wars TV series that she was planning. The series was also going to be more politically correct in the Star Wars world, and that Lucas saw the intent for the lack of any form of major violence in the series. That was actually way too out there, that didn't make much sense, and also, George knew that the series would fail in the long run. George Lucas is said to have hired Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni to hop on board of the reworked version of Knights of the Old Republic that Kathleen Kennedy started back in early 2019 that ended by Lucas. Now, the series was separated from its source material, and Chapek and Lucas knew that this would crash and burn. Lucas is aiming to drop a Knights series by 2024 on Disney+, if all goes well, with the other planned Star Wars TV series for Disney+, and is said to be in the process of looking into potential actors to become a part of this reworked version of Knights of the Old Republic for Disney+. Lucas is working to stay true to the source material so that fans can be very happy in the long run. Now, this is where things begin to get very important that a lot of fans need to know right now, is that this Knights of the Old Republic Star Wars TV series that Kathleen Kennedy was working on, in case you guys did not know this and have been out of the loop, it really was going to stay away from what the video games were about, from what the books were about, and overall, you know, what the expanded universe really portrayed that era as. Kathleen Kennedy wanted to completely do a 180 with this new era of Star Wars, if you will, by taking the beloved characters by the hardcore fans and just really changing them from the ground up. Essentially just slapping Knights of the Old Republic title on a completely, you know, unoriginal, you know, look of this new Star Wars universe that Kathleen Kennedy was trying to copy and paste off of. So to me, I think it really was a great move by George to really cancel this project in the long run, and to also not allow Kathleen Kennedy to really take control over this beloved era of Star Wars. I don't know if you guys are into this era, but I do suggest that you guys go ahead and check out Knights of the Old Republic. Amazing part of the Star Wars world that is in fact going to be explored in the next couple of years, thankfully, and the best of all, by George, John, and Dave. That, to me, I think is going to be quite something to see at home on Disney+. Would I have rather to have seen something like this on the big screen? Absolutely. I think that there's still the opportunity to do that if this is successful. But as of right now, there are no plans to really expand Knights of the Old Republic. from television to movies. So yeah, guys, like I say, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this below in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do be sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.